Welcome everybody, thanks for joining me for this session. The session's entitled Supercharge Your Sales Performance. And I'm hoping that I really can do that for you today. I'm hoping that all of you will leave the session today genuinely feeling like you have some ideas about how to make sales performance better in your business. Before we move on to exactly what I'm going to do to make that happen, just going to give you a bit of context. My name is Dunne-Squire and I am the MD of this business here, which is called Elation. I set up Elation in March 2009, following a career in corporate level sales, working for some of the UK and America's leading PLCs. The intention behind Elation was that we are a group of sales experts who work with other businesses to give them the tips and tricks that they need to sell more. And we do that through creating business growth programs, doing training and consultancy, and mentoring and development. I'd like to tell you a little bit about where it all started and why you are here today. So in 2009, when I set up Elation, that was the first time I had ever worked in or for a small business in my life. I've worked for some massive PLCs, I've been in those nameless, faceless organisations where nobody really knows who you are or what goes on, and I loved it. Massively hungry for selling and absolutely loved developing and training people. What I really wanted to do was translate all of that great corporate level expertise into the small business sector, where they had less access to senior level sales experience. But I came across very quickly one fundamental issue, and that is that when you are in the small business sector and you are looking to understand how can we sell more, there are many different answers to that question. If you've got a panel of experts, a business coach, a finance director, a marketing consultant, a sales consultant in a room, and you said, how can I sell more? How can I be more profitable? Every single one of them would give you a different answer. Yeah? Not because of any lack of skill or quality on the behalf of any of those individuals, but because that answer is subjective. It's opinion-based. My finance director has a very different idea about how we become more profitable than I do as the managing and sales director for the business. Neither of us are wrong. There's just a combination of answers to that question. When you are in an organisation that is smaller than a PLC, you can't afford to get the answer wrong. Can't afford to experiment with some growth ideas that may or may not bring revenue to you. Can't afford to experiment with some new business development ideas that do or don't bring revenue to you. You need to make decisions about things that will actually work right now for you in your business. So I wanted to create that tool. There was no access anywhere in the UK at that point, and I think I'm right in saying now still is the case, to a robust and measurable tool that said you can get a metric-based answer to what do I need to do to sell more. So I devised the 3 pillars methodology, and today I'm going to talk you through that methodology. I'm going to explain a little bit about its background, and I'm going to talk you through some case studies that will allow you to understand how to implement that 3 pillars in your business, to use that tool to understand quickly and effectively what do I need to do to win more business. So when the 3 pillars first began, I wanted it to be able to create really workable, achievable growth programs for businesses that they could be fully behind, they could fully have faith in, and they could be confident would drive the right revenue in their business. So I devised the program, and it begins with an audit and assessment tool. That's what I'm going to share with you today, where you can get really underneath the sales operation of a business and understand what's going well and where are the areas for development. So we ran this tool on 12 businesses in 2010, a cross-section of 12 businesses who I beta tested this tool with, totally free of charge. All 12 of the businesses universally saw growth in both turnover and net profits. They also saw a lot of much less tangible benefits like more motivated staff, happier customers, shorter lead times, higher conversion rates. Many benefits. So what we know now from rolling that program out in many businesses nationwide is that it works. Now I do this myself for a living. The 3 pillars is what I do, and I go into organisations and I do the audit and assessment and I run the improvement program and I take them through that journey. my intention has always been to make that accessible to everybody. Yeah, it's very nice for me to make a little bit of money doing the thing that I love and bringing my baby to market, but there's not enough of me to do it for every business in the UK. So the plan was, when it's a solid business opportunity and a solid offering, we would share it out with the world. So we started to do that over the last couple of months. I'm going to share with you today some of the tools that will help you understand what it might do for you. We've got a free ebook that you can download that will allow you to take your business through this process should you wish to. And we're going to have more written tools that will come out. So it's entirely a choice for every individual in the room. Do it with support, do it by yourself, but do it because the 3 pillars of successful selling will bring you more revenue to your business. So let's look at what they are. The 3 pillars works under the basic premise that in order to have real strength in your sales operation, you have to have these 3 pillars in place. Now, when I use the phrase sales operation, that could be you yourself in your bedroom, or it could be the 100 people in your sales and marketing department. This tool translates across micro businesses. We put it in place for one-man bands who are setting up their business. We put it in place for corporate level sales teams. It works. So the 3 pillars are sales activity, sales process, and sales management. Sales activities is where we're talking about the individual communications that your customer sees when they work with you. Every email, every web page they look at, every telephone call they get, every proposal they see, every face-to-face meeting they have, every networking event you attend. Each of them are the sales activities that drive revenue through your business. And we look at the quality of them and the quantity of them, and we begin to understand whether they're right to generate you the level of business that you need. If you've got strength in that pillar, you're a third of the way towards a really robust sales operation. The second of the pillars is the sales process pillar. This is about the strategic plans that you have in place that control the customer journey in your business. What are my plans and process around how we generate leads in our organisation? What intentions and practices do we have around how we nurture those leads once we've brought them in? What is our process for effective account managing? How do we guide a customer through our business in a really effective and robust way? We then look to the sales management pillar. This is about how we track and measure our success. It's about how we lead our people to motivate them and drive them. It's about all the management practice that is required to make sure that that process is implemented to the right quality and in the right way. If you have strength in all 3 of those pillars, you are going to be able to find more business success. And these are very much interactive with one another, these 3 pillars. You cannot have strength in one without the other. From both a tactical perspective and a strategic perspective, you have to focus on all 3 as a triangle and a unit. I'll give you an example on a tactical basis. So a client of mine was wanting their team members to effectively follow up quotations in a regular and timely way, a practice that wasn't happening in their business. He tried on many occasions to ask them to do it, to tell them off for not doing it, and he'd never been able to get a result and success in that piece of work. We applied the 3 pillars thinking to that piece of work. First of all, we created a very clear quote follow-up process. This is where the quotes are going to be sent. This is the time of day you need to review them. This is the number of them that you need to be following up every day. We then did some very specific training around what the activity needed to look like and what a good quality quote follow-up call looked like. We then built an incentive around that to manage that performance. Focus on all 3 pillars, got that piece of work done. This business now effectively follows up 90% of its quotations, and it was 27 before we applied that principle. And you can see that coming across in strategic work as well, and I am going to talk you through that in a moment. Before we go into some specific detail and looking at case studies of in detail how we manage around these pillars, I just want you to reflect on one thing, and that is where we get our sales process planning methodology from. Sales process is about the steps that you have in your business in order to drive business effectively through it. And all of our sales process methodology at Elation works around this 5-stage process. This is the customer decision-making process. It's been put together by an eminent marketing expert called Philip Kotler. All of the content and materials that you hear from me today will be my own methodologies and intellectual property, except for this, because he was just too good to exclude. I did try a number of times to create my own, but why change perfect? So, Philip Kotler says that whenever any individual is working with your target market, is looking to work with your business, they go through these 5 stages. First of all, they develop an awareness of your product or service. If your messaging is thorough and robust enough, they will develop a level of interest and they will consider it relevant for them as an individual. Once they've made the choice that your business is relevant for them, they then move into the evaluation stage. The evaluation stage is massive. There's a huge amount of stuff going on at evaluation. They're thinking about your reputation and your credibility, your competitors, your pricing, your onboarding process, the specifications, the problems that you solve. There's a massive amount being considered at this evaluation stage. If and only if that goes well, they make a commitment to buy from you, they've had a positive evaluation, they're ready. They can become clients. At the commitment stage, your job is to deliver exceptional service to them, meet their expectations, wow them. And then moving through to the loyalty stage, we're looking to make our customers not just one-time customers, but loyal, committed and embedded customers. Customers who buy from us again and again. Customers who shun our competition. Customers who refer us to all their friends and family willingly. Customers who are happy to advocate on our behalf. Now, your business's sales process pillar should be focused entirely on how you move people effectively through all of these stages and down to loyalty. A massively high quality business has 70% of its clients in this loyalty phase. That is 70% of the people that you have ever invoiced for anything are repeat referral advocates of your business. That's an incredibly healthy business, and moving people through this stage is a key focus. So that's the context for sales process. Let's think about the sales process pillar as a pillar of our activity. There's 2 things that we think about when we think about the sales process pillar. First of all, we think about sales process methodology. What are the plans that you have in place in your business to drive custom through the stages? From a tactical perspective, what are you doing to generate awareness? What are you doing to raise interest in your business? How are you ensuring that your customers can evaluate you effectively, make an educated decision to buy with you? What practices do you have in place with your existing clients to make sure they repeat with you again and again, and you're constantly driving business through that funnel of decision making? So we think about that sales process methodology. But as well as that, we have to bear in mind sales process technology. There needs to be a system in your business that allows you to record and measure your sales process. There has to be something that tells you how many people are at each of the stages of the journey. What type of experience are they having with your business? How are you tracking that? So we use our understanding of sales process methodology and sales process technology, and we use that to create a scoring in your business. Now, before I flick to the next slide, it's got loads of numbers and stats and graphs on it, which I'm not absolutely okay with, but I can't share this with you without it. So this is what a 3-pillar scoring matrix looks like. I don't expect you to memorize it. I don't expect you to consider yourself an expert in it in the next 5 minutes. You can go online, download the totally free ebook. All of these tools are there. Let me help you understand it. So this is a case study. This is actually a flooring business that I've worked with, that we put the 3 pillars in place with. And this scoring matrix allows us to look in incredible detail at their business and what's happening with the process end of their business and give them specific granular scoring. You will see here at the bottom, the maximum score that any business could get is 100%, makes sense. Then based on their actual live scoring, you get given a specific gap analysis. which is the gap between perfect and where you currently are. So it's an absolutely measurable system. Let me talk you through the things that we're thinking about so you can apply this to your business. First of all, we think about lead generation. Right, so how is this business, from a process perspective, bringing in leads into the business? And there's a few key areas that we need to look at. Is there good diversity? Is this business using all the methods of communication available to it? Are they using email effectively and web marketing effectively? Are they using networking effectively? What's happening to make sure that their lead generation is diverse and not one-dimensional? They've got lots of pillars in place there. Is it structured? Is every lead that's generated brought into the business in the same way, recorded in an appropriate way? Is there a method and a process behind that lead generation? Is it on message? Are we saying the right stuff? When we're generating leads with accountants, are we sending them different messages from when we're generating leads with hairdressers? Are they hearing relevant messaging for each target market? Are we also making sure that it's targeted? So thinking about specific campaigns of lead generation into different vertical markets, or are we just shouting our message out to anyone who will hear it, giving ourselves a less high likelihood of conversion rate? And is it measured? Do we know how many leads have come into the system? Do we know what source they came from? So we're thinking really analytically about these. 0 is it doesn't ever happen at all, and 4 is it's perfect. We find a score in between. And we break our customer journey down to lead nurturing. So once the inquiries come in, is it being managed with the same quality of process that it needs to be? And then account management, so post-sales, once we've got that client on board, are we managing loyalty and repeat and referral effectively? So you can go through your business's sales process methodology and really think about what scores you might honestly be achieving. We then think about technology. Now, I'm no snob. I don't care if it's an Excel spreadsheet, if it does the job. We know that there are many CRMs in place. You could be talking about Salesforce or Epicor or Goldmine or many and various ones in between. If it doesn't allow you to track and measure and control your sales process, then it needs to be improved. When we're considering the technology in the business, we're looking at things like, is it fit for purpose? Does it actually manage the data it needs to manage? Is it embedded? Now in this business here, you'll see they scored a 7 out of a potential 8 for fit for purpose. They had an exceptional CRM in place that was incredibly able to manage the process and the information it needed to manage. Embedded means, are all of the users using it properly? Is everybody putting the data into it in the way they should be putting the data into it? Does everybody understand how it works? That's a very low score for this company. CRM is only worth the data that's in it. If it's not embedded, it's not valuable to your business. So we're looking in real granular detail. The other things we think about here is, does it manage workflow? As a salesperson, can I come to work on a Monday morning and will my database or CRM tell me what I need to be doing that day? Is it controlling my activities, making sure that I understand where I should be focusing my time? Is it giving me accurate reporting? Can I pull up a report of all the quotations that have been sent out in the last 3 months and actively follow them up? Can I run a report of all the email marketing that was done last week so I can make that follow-up call? Does it give me the reports that I need to run my business properly? And then from a management information perspective, this is what are the owners, managers, directors of a business seeing? Can I pull out my conversion rates? Can I understand what sector I'm selling at higher margins at? Can I see which one of my salespeople is the most effective in their role? So these are the kind of things that we're looking at. Now, what you are able to do with a tool like this is score your business, identify a gap analysis that will tell you how far away you are from perfect. Let's move on to the other pillars. In the end, I'll give you an example of how this can impact your business. So the sales activity pillar is about the individual communications that your client sees and the quality and the quantity of them. It's about making sure that those are properly defined so that they're right for your business and they're right for your target market. and that everyone who is implementing those activities has the highest level of skill to do so. If you do have a weakness in this pillar, you are limiting your ability to grow because your customers are not hearing the right things from you in the right way, delivered to the right standard. So there's a bit of flexibility with the scoring on this pillar because we don't all use all of the activities. You know, it might not be right for your business to exhibit. So you can change your communication criteria along this top section here to make it business specific. So what are the methods that you have ever or are intending to use to drive business? And here's just some examples: telephone, online, offline, face-to-face, and events. This is a case study here for a security business that we worked with. You can see here, there's a very large gap here. There's a significant challenge in this business around their sales activity pillar. And that's because when we consider the 4 key areas that have to be right to have good strength in sales activity, they weren't achieving to their highest possible standards. So let's think about these areas. Number 1 again is diversity. Are you using your sales activities effectively across all areas of your sales pipeline? If you do a huge amount of cold calling to win new business, and then once the client signs up they never get a phone call from you again, they're having an inconsistency of experience. Yeah? If you have won the business based on some really good quality face-to-face meetings, but they never get an account management face-to-face meeting, they're going to have their expectations a little out of line. So you have to make sure that through all of the areas of lead nurture and through the whole process, you are using these in a diverse way. Number 2 is quantity. Fairly simple, but it might not be that you're not doing enough. It might be that you're doing too much. Are you communicating in a consistent way? That means that you're visible, that your clients feel attended to and nurtured, but that you're not being a pest. You know, I worked with a business when we were doing the 3 pillars, and they email their clients 6 times a week. They never phone their clients. They never pop out and visit their clients. They email them 6 times a week. Unsurprisingly, they weren't making masses and masses of profit. Their communication in the email area was far too high, and in the other areas was far too low. So their business wasn't effective. You need to consider the structure of your communications. If you've got 6 salespeople who are all sending emails, those emails are going to look really different. They're going to be put together in a different way, different sentence structure, different paragraph structure. They're going to be inconsistent. Do you have guidelines in place around what an email looks like for your clients? Do you have guidelines in place about what is the content of an account management review with the client? Do you have guidelines in place about the language people should be using when they're cold calling on your behalf? Your customers need to see well-structured, consistent, coherent information from your business. If everyone's just winging it, saying what the hell they like whenever the hell they like it, you're not going to control the messaging. And then the final one is content. And we're thinking about, is there the right messaging in there for your target market? Are you adjusting your materials for your accountants and your hairdressers? Are you presenting different USPs to the butcher than you are to the housewife? Are you understanding that the content of what you are writing to people has to flex dependent on market? Are you understanding that if you're not communicating the value that you can add in your content, you're not going to be getting maximum impact? So in this particular business here, you can see that this example of everyone is saying whatever the hell they like, whenever the hell they want to, was in place in this business. Across about 17 individual fee earners, there was no best practice at all around the way that they were using the telephone, around the way that customer inquiries were handled. If a customer spoke to John or Louise, you'd get a vastly different experience. That's really limiting for your business. It's really limiting. It's not until, and this client had a sense of that in their head. You know, this client wasn't entirely naive to that, but it isn't until it's on a piece of paper with a number sitting next to it that you can really see the impact it's having on a business. So you can see for this organisation, a really big gap analysis between what perfect looks like and what they're achieving. Let's store that up and think about what that means in a minute. Okay, the final pillar is the sales management pillar. And sales management is about two things, really. It's about the tracking and measuring you have in place. Are there targets? Are there KPIs? Are we reporting properly? Do we understand what is physically being achieved? And can we communicate that properly to our team? And it's about the leadership. It's about whether the structure in that team is right, whether people are being driven and managed and mentored in the right way. It is very difficult for a team of individuals to implement a process to the highest possible quality without somebody nurturing them and coaching them through that process. So sales management looks a bit like this. There's a lot of things to think about in sales management, and it is quite a detailed form here, but there's really 4 key areas we're looking at. We're looking at the structure of the business. We're looking to understand whether the structure is correct, whether the people are in the correct roles, whether the structure is properly understood. Everyone knows who their line manager is, everyone knows who they're directly reporting to, people are appropriate in those roles, there's the right level of hierarchy, and essentially that resource mapping is appropriate. So we're thinking in some detail, and please remember, much more information around how you would put this in place in your business in this ebook, so it's not about remembering this information for you right now. Then we look at performance. Is performance being managed? Are there targets in place? Does everyone have clear goals that they're looking to achieve? Is there a good level of sales activity in the business? Are we getting the right competencies and the right behaviours from our team? Are they doing what we need them to do? And how might we grade them accordingly? And you'll see in the narrative on the ebook that it breaks down very specifically what good looks like in these sections. So you can pull that out for your business. Then we think about communication. How is the communication within the team? Is it free of conflict? Is it regular and transparent? We think about whether there's good one-to-one communication between the manager and their teams, whether the business is properly communicating back into the sales team. When a sales team exists in a silo, they really struggle to represent that business properly. They are the voice of your business. They need to understand everything that's happening in your business, what's shaping the business from other departments, what's shaping the business from the top, what is the vision. So how are they communicating interdepartmentally? Are meetings happening? What is the quality of those meetings? And then we're finally looking at training. Training is the only tool that you have in your business to make sure that the people know what they are meant to do and how they are meant to do it. Don't train them, you leave that to chance. Now, I've been in sales recruitment for a very long time. I have been directly responsible for probably recruiting well over 1,000 salespeople. I've worked for some big PLCs, I've done some big recruitment projects. And I can tell you now that the most capable salesperson in the world will underachieve in the wrong management environment. Without doubt, and I'm sure there's people in the room that have seen that. Having the right training in place when they are inducted into the business, making sure that management training is effective, there's an ongoing training program, there's a coaching program, there's personal development in place for people, is absolutely key. Sales is a performance-related role. Yeah, we are expected to achieve goals and targets. Yeah, think about the other performance-related roles that you know about. That's sports people, for example. Tiger Woods, he has to perform. He has targets, he has goals, he has to hit them. You better believe that Tiger Woods trains every single day of his life. He has coaches, he has mentors, he has trainers, he has all manner of support for consistent personal development. Tiger Woods is the best in his field, or certainly has been at varying times in his career, and he still trains every single day. Yet most businesses think that our performance roles, such as sales, can live without training. Bit of a waste of time. Don't need to train our senior level sales experts, because people aren't capable of staying on top of their game without regular coaching and training. And we overlook that in sales so regularly. So we see in this business here, now in fairness to this lovely business here, this business is a very new business that is building a sales team for the first time. So none of these practices were in place. This would be a slight shame if it was an established sales team. But you can see that they've got a very large gap. So if we reflect back, For sales process, we had a gap of 54. For our sales activities, we had a gap of 76, I think. Anyone paying better attention than me? And for this sales management, we've got a gap of 86. So number one, we've now got absolutely metric analysis across all three of the pillars. Number two, which is the most important part of the three pillars, is I know where to focus my attention first. The area where I have the largest gap is sales management. This is the area where if I put my time and effort in, I will get the quickest returns. So yes, I know I've got issues in sales activities. Yes, I know I've got issues in sales process, but where I'm going to get my fastest wins is in sales management, because that's where the biggest challenges are. Now, you can't define that just through instinct alone. I've been in senior level sales for the best part of 20 years now, and I could not go into a business and absolutely, without doubt, say, you need to put into sales management. This tool lets you do that. Sometimes problems that feel bigger are not actually the ones that are going to get you the quickest returns. So from this scoring matrix, you can then create a sales improvement program in the business. The ebook tool that I keep banging on about, which is free of charge, so no value to me, the free of charge tool for you guys to download will take you through that very specific process. What it will do that I don't have time to do today is also talk to you about what action you need to take. And it will take you through a 3-step process that will allow you to understand exactly how you would put in a sales improvement program. So you've got several opportunities now today. I believe that most of you will be sitting on a small little white card, and that is the link to the ebook. So if you can't be bothered to write it down and you haven't got a piece of paper, you've got that little card. You can use that to create a sales improvement program in your business. If you don't want to do that, or you don't have the time to do that, I do sales reviews with businesses where I introduce those concepts of the three pillars. They're normally £250. 10 people from the SIE part of this exhibition today will get a free of charge review. So there's a number of things you can do. Catherine, the lovely lady at the front here with her hand in the air, is my head of marketing. She'll grab a business card, she'll register your interest in any of those things. If you want to come over to the stand, there's an opportunity to win a sales toolkit which has got loads of my sales materials in it that you can implement in your business. There's all manner of ways you can engage with us. Jump onto social media. I love making new sales professional contacts. We do loads of stuff on Twitter and on Facebook and LinkedIn to make sure that we share tips and tricks with you all. What I would mostly love to do out today is to extend my own professional network and have some more of you connect with me and more of you share your ideas with me. So please do that. And we would love to see you on the stand. There is champagne, there are silly games. So for those of you who are getting a bit tired of the day, you can come and maybe win some prizes. But what I really hope you do is you get some successes using these three pillars. And if anyone in the room takes the time to download the ebook and sees any real change, please share it with me, because my mission is to help everyone's business get better. Thank you ever so much for today.